Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Practice English Fast, your go-to channel for mastering English fluency and acing the CELPIP exam. Today's episode is a continuation of our CELPIP preparation series, focusing on Task 4, Making Predictions. This task requires you to describe an illustration similar to the one you encountered in Task 3 and predict what you think will happen next. You'll have 30 seconds of prep time and 60 seconds to speak. So, let's dive in. If you're preparing for CELPIP Speaking Task 4 and aiming for the higher level 9 to 12, then this video is for you. In this section, we're going to break down what it takes to reach this level. We'll cover everything from content and coherence to vocabulary, listenability, and task fulfillment. Let's get started. Let's start with content and coherence. At level 9 to 12, your response should be well organized, clear, and full of relevant details. You need to logically organize your ideas and develop them with specific details. Think about giving your response a structure with a clear opening and closing. For example, when describing a picture, you'll need to not only explain who you're talking about, but also provide enough details to make your description vivid and complete. Next up is vocabulary. To hit level above 9, you need to use a wide range of precise and descriptive words and phrases. Imagine you're using words like, in terms of, currently, persuade, quite stern words that show you have a deep understanding of the language. Make sure you're not just sticking to basic vocabulary. The key is to use complex expressions naturally, so they flow as part of your speech. When it comes to listenability, fluency is critical. At this level, even if you speak quickly, your pronunciation and intonation should be excellent. There should be very few pauses or self-corrections, and your response should be smooth and easy to follow. You want the listener to stay engaged without having to work hard to understand you. Finally, we have task fulfillment. This is where you really show your command of the task. You should use complex grammatical structures, especially when talking about the future. Whether you're discussing plans or predictions, show off your ability to use different future tenses. Also, make sure your tone fits the situation, whether it's formal or informal. Your goal is to describe everything thoroughly and precisely, leaving no important details out. So, to hit CELPIP Advanced level, remember to stay organized, use a broad vocabulary, keep your speech fluent, and fulfill the task with precision. It's all about combining all these elements to create a clear, detailed, and professional response. Now, let's dive into some key strategies that can help you excel in this task. When starting CELPIP Speaking Task 4, begin by clearly identifying the key individual or people in the picture. Start with details such as their approximate age, gender, and what they are wearing. For instance, you might say, in the image, I notice a woman in her 30s wearing a dark blue jacket and black trousers, standing at the counter. If relevant, include details about their location within the picture or their role if it's apparent, such as, she appears to be a cashier working in a grocery store. Once the individual is clearly identified, proceed to make a prediction about what might happen next based on their actions or environment. You could say, given her position and her body language, I anticipate she will greet the next customer and begin to assist with their purchases. This approach ensures a logical and coherent description, while also demonstrating your ability to predict future actions based on the scenario. In this section of CELPIP Speaking Task 4, we're going to explore some powerful ways to introduce predictions. These phrases will help you sound confident and natural as you speculate about what could happen next. Let's dive into different expressions you can use to start your predictions, from phrases like, "it's looking like," to "my guess is that," all designed to make your responses clear, fluent, and effective. When making predictions, there are several phrases that can effectively convey your thoughts. You might say, "it's looking like," or express your intuition by stating, "my intuition tells me that." If you want to emphasize the basis for your prediction, you could use "all indications are that," or "the evidence suggests that." Another way to phrase your prediction is by saying, "it appears that," or "it's on the cards that." You can also assert a reasonable prediction by stating, "it's reasonable to assume that," or "it stands to reason that." For a more confident prediction, you might say, "I'd wager that," or "it's my hunch that." If you want to share your opinion, you could begin with, "In my opinion, it's probable that," or "from what I've observed, it's highly likely that." When looking at broader trends, you might say, "Based on current trends, I anticipate that," or express your thoughts with, "it wouldn't surprise me if." When relying on data, you can say, "Judging by the data, I would say that," or use a more generalized approach with "all signs point to." For a safe prediction, "it's a safe bet that" works well, while "I'm inclined to believe that" indicates a personal belief. You might also use "the outlook suggests that," or if you were taking a guess, "if I were to guess, I'd say that." When being more direct, phrases like "it's likely that" and "I predict that" can be useful. You can also express potential outcomes by saying "chances are," or "I foresee that." Other phrases like "it's probable that" and "I have a feeling that" can add to your predictions. If you're making a more cautious statement, you can say, "It seems to me that," or "it's possible that." Finally, "it's anticipated that," and "my guess is that." Provide a solid basis for your predictions. Understanding cause and effect is essential when making predictions about future events. For instance, using phrases like "because of" allows you to establish a clear reason for your prediction, such as, "because of the amount of luggage, I think they're going on a longer trip." Similarly, "due to" can effectively introduce an explanation for potential outcomes, as in, "due to the time of day, they might arrive late." In the realm of conditional predictions, utilizing "if" and "unless" can help articulate possible scenarios and their consequences. For example, you might say, "if they don't leave soon, they could miss their reservation," highlighting a direct relationship between their action and the outcome. Conversely, "unless" introduces a condition that must be met to avoid a negative result, such as, "unless they pack food, they might need to stop along the way," which emphasizes the importance of preparation. These structures not only clarify your thoughts, but also enhance your ability to communicate complex ideas effectively. When making predictions, we often use modal verbs to express varying levels of certainty about future events. For example, using "will" shows a high degree of certainty, as in "the weather will improve tomorrow." On the other hand, "might" or "may" suggests a possibility with less certainty, like "she might arrive later today," or "we may go to the beach if the weather is nice." If you want to indicate a potential outcome, "could" is a good choice, as in "they could win the game if they play well." For a likely but not guaranteed outcome, "should" works well, as in "the bus should arrive soon." In more formal contexts, "shall" is often used, while would is commonly employed for hypothetical scenarios, such as it would be great if we could finish on time. These modal verbs allow us to express different degrees of possibility when making predictions. First, it's essential to use your imagination, but remember to keep your predictions grounded in reality. Your responses should be directly related to what you see the people doing in the illustration. For example, if you notice a group of people looking at a menu, you might predict they will soon order food or discuss their choices. Look at the picture carefully. Pay attention to the details like people's facial expressions, body language, and any objects that could hint at what will happen next. Focus on who is doing what and where. Next, ask yourself some important questions. What actions might the people take next, and what feelings might they experience as a result? This will help you build a narrative around the illustration and make your response more engaging. For instance, if you see a child looking excited, you might suggest that they are eager to try a new activity. Make logical predictions about what might happen next. Think, what are they likely to do? What could be the outcome of the scene? The more you practice, the better you'll get at this. Finally, take a look at the surrounding people and objects in the picture. Consider how these elements can inspire your ideas. They might provide context or lead to additional predictions. Maybe you notice a bicycle, which could suggest someone is about to go for a ride. Incorporating these details will enrich your description and show your ability to think critically about the scene. By applying these strategies, using your imagination realistically, asking insightful questions about actions and feelings, and considering the entire scene, you'll be well prepared to tackle CELPIP Speaking Task 4. All right, let's focus on the first image, the beach scene. Here are some possible predictions that you could make in Task 4 of the CELPIP exam. I predict that the children playing near the water might get carried away by a wave and fall into the sea. Since they are quite young, they might not be paying attention to the incoming waves. However, they are wearing life jackets, which suggests they are prepared for such situations. Look at the bird flying near the beach. It's hovering around, probably looking for food. My prediction is that the bird might swoop down and grab a snack from one of the beachgoers, causing a bit of laughter or surprise. Or we can say like the seagull flying overhead could be looking for food and might try to steal some snacks from the picnic blanket, adding a bit of fun chaos. Next, the girl sitting on the sand building the sandcastle will likely continue working on it, perhaps making it taller or adding more towers. Or we can also say the girl in the blue swimsuit looks like she is focused on building a sandcastle. She might soon ask her friend to help her add decorations, or they could decide to make an even bigger sandcastle together. Next would be, the two children under the umbrella seem to be resting, but it's likely that they will soon join the others in the water or participate in a game of beach ball. Other prediction might be, the boy standing near the water with snorkeling gear might decide to jump in and explore underwater, especially since he looks eager to join the fun. We can also predict that the children already in the water are likely to keep playing, and one of them might toss the beach ball to the children on the shore, inviting them to join in. Or there might be another prediction like, in addition, the two kids in the water are playing with a beach ball, and it's likely that they'll keep playing for a while, but they might eventually start a water fight, which would make the scene even more lively. Next would be, I also think that the crab we see near the sandcastle could move toward the children. Since it's a small crab, it could cause a bit of chaos among the kids building the sandcastle, as they might get scared and run away. Lastly, considering the time of day and how much fun the kids are having, it's possible that they'll stay on the beach until sunset, enjoying their time together. See how easy that was? By making logical predictions, you've created a story about what might happen next. Remember, your predictions don't have to be right. They just need to make sense in context. My goal is to provide you with a variety of brainstorming ideas and multiple perspectives so that you can prepare yourself for any picture that may come up in CELPIP Speaking Task 4, which focuses on making predictions. In this section of the video, we will explore an effective template for making predictions in your CELPIP Speaking Task 4. This structure not only helps you organize your thoughts, but also enhances the clarity of your responses. Let's break it down sentence by sentence. This opening sentence sets the scene. It helps establish the main character and their current action. Using phrases like "it appears that" adds an element of observation, which is essential in prediction tasks. This approach creates a vivid picture for the examiner and demonstrates your ability to analyze visual information. Here, we introduce a modal verb, might, to express uncertainty about future actions. This is crucial because it showcases your ability to think ahead and make educated guesses. Using modal verbs such as could or may allows you to present multiple possibilities, further enriching your response and demonstrating a higher level of language proficiency. This sentence introduces another character and their action. The word meanwhile serves as a connector, indicating that multiple events are happening simultaneously. This not only makes your response more dynamic, but also shows your ability to link ideas effectively. By using "it seems," you can again express uncertainty while predicting what this character might do next. In this sentence, additionally, acts as another connector, helping you to expand on the scene. Describing another element adds depth to your observations. The phrase, "but after a while," introduces a time element, indicating that predictions can change over time. This flexibility in thinking can impress examiners and showcase your critical thinking skills. Using "furthermore" enhances the flow of your response, showing that you are building on your previous statements. This structure allows you to describe another element while predicting future actions. Words like "looks like" can help create a sense of visual assessment, making your predictions feel grounded and relevant. Finally, this closing sentence wraps up your predictions. Using "it's quite possible" expresses a degree of certainty while still leaving room for ambiguity. This is important in the CELPIP exam, as it reflects your ability to assess outcomes based on the given context. A strong conclusion leaves the examiner with a final impression of your analytical skills and language proficiency. Using this template for your CELPIP Speaking Task 4 can significantly enhance your performance. By structuring your predictions clearly and logically, you can convey your thoughts effectively while showcasing your vocabulary and grammatical range. Remember to incorporate connectors to maintain a smooth flow in your speech. With practice, you can improve your fluency and coherence, ultimately increasing your band score. Let's take a look at this fun picture of a beach scene with kids playing. Remember the template we practiced earlier? We'll use that to predict what might happen next in this picture. Okay, let's start by observing the image. Firstly, there are several children playing on the beach, with some building sand castles and others swimming in the ocean. The sun is shining brightly, and the atmosphere looks cheerful. We're going to put our prediction-making skills into practice by filling in our template based on an image. As we walk through each part of the template, we will craft predictions using specific details from the scene. Sentence by sentence, we'll show how to make detailed, coherent predictions for CELPIP Speaking Task 4. Let's get started by looking at the image and applying our template step by step. Our first sentence of the template is, "So, in terms of what is likely to happen next, it appears that the describe a character is focused on describe an action." Now, filling in the template. It appears that the girl in the blue dress is focused on building a sandcastle. This sentence clearly identifies the character and what she is doing at the moment. Next, we move on to, she or he or they might predict an action or predict second action if available. Let's fill in the template. She might soon ask her friend to help her add decorations, or they could decide to make an even bigger sandcastle together. Here, we predict possible actions the girl might take next, showing foresight and adding depth to our observation. Now, we continue with, meanwhile, the describe another character is describe an action, and it seems she could be predict another action. So our filled-in template will be, meanwhile, the boy with a snorkel on his head is standing near the water, and it seems he could be about to jump into the ocean, joining his friends. This sentence introduces a new character and predicts what he might do next, adding another layer to our scene description. Our next sentence is, additionally, the describe another element is or are describe an action, but after a while, he or she or they may predict an action. Let's check our filled-in template. Additionally, the two kids in the water are playing with a beach ball, but after a while, they might eventually start a water fight, making the scene even more lively. Here, we add another element to the scene and predict how the situation might evolve over time. Moving forward, we have, furthermore, the describe another element looks like it or they will predict an action, and it should or might predict another action. Our answer sentence will be, furthermore, the seagull flying overhead looks like it could be looking for food, and it might try to steal some snacks from the picnic blanket. In this sentence, we observe another element and predict how its actions could affect the scene. Finally, we conclude with, it's quite possible that they will or might predict another action, closing sentence, or overall outcome. Our conclusion sentence will be, it's quite possible that they might stay on the beach until sunset, enjoying their time together. This closing sentence wraps up our predictions by giving a possible outcome for the entire scene. And that's how you can use this structured template to make well-rounded predictions in CELPIP Speaking Task 4. Each sentence adds detail and depth, ensuring that your response is clear and fully developed. With practice, you'll become more confident in your ability to make insightful predictions that will impress examiners.